In the dim light of a fading sunset, I found myself at the edge of life, teetering between this world and something far beyond. My name is Michael, and I never believed in miracles or life after death until the day I died. Now, I must share my journey through the shadow of death and back, revealing truths long buried in the corridors of my own past. As the eldest son in a family haunted by generational secrets, I spent my life running from the shadows that seemed to cling to our lineage. Little did I know that these shadows would lead me to an experience that would not only challenge everything I believed about life, but also about death itself. The day started like any other, with the mundane tasks of a regular Tuesday. Coffee, emails, a quick jog. However, the heaviness in my chest that morning was new, an ominous whisper that something was terribly wrong. I ignored it, attributing the discomfort to stress or maybe just indigestion. But as the day wore on, the whispers became shouts. By mid-afternoon, I found myself gasping for breath, each inhale a laborious struggle. Alone at home, the realization dawned on me like a slow, creeping fog. I was in serious trouble. Picking up the phone, I dialed 911 with trembling fingers, the icy grip of fear clenching my heart. I collapsed before I could hear the operator answer, the phone clattering to the floor beside me. As darkness enveloped my vision, a strange calm overtook the panic. It was as if the world had slowed down, allowing me to notice every detail. The soft rustle of the leaves outside, the distant laughter of children returning home from school, the gradual dimming of light as my eyes closed. Lying there, I felt my consciousness slipping away, tugged gently towards an unseen threshold. It was in this twilight of awareness that my journey beyond began, a journey into a realm where the past and the future merge in ways unimaginable, revealing the untold truths about my existence and the shadows that had followed me from birth. As we embark on this narrative together, I invite you to walk with me through the veils of reality, to witness the revelations that await when life itself hangs by a thread. What I discovered on the other side of life is a tale of mystery, of healing, and ultimately of redemption. So take a deep breath and prepare to dive into the depths of the unknown, where our deepest fears and highest hopes lie intertwined, waiting to be uncovered. As I regained a semblance of awareness, the sound of my own heartbeat thundered, ears erratic and frightening. The pain in my chest had intensified, no longer a whisper, but a roaring demand for attention that I could no longer ignore. Each breath was a battle, each moment stretched into an eternity of discomfort and fear. The air around me felt heavy, as if charged with electricity before a storm. The walls of my living room, once a sanctuary of family memories and laughter, now seemed to close in on me, oppressive and suffocating. I lay on the floor, helpless, my vision blurring and darkening at the edges, a clear sign that my body was reaching its limit. It wasn't long before the sound of sirens pierced the thin veil of my consciousness. Help was on its way, yet it seemed as distant as a lifeline thrown across a vast chasm. As paramedics burst through the door, their voices were muffled, as if underwater, their faces blurred and distorted through my fading vision. "Sir, can you hear me?" one of the paramedics shouted, his hand pressing firmly against my chest, assessing the rhythm of a heart struggling to sustain its beat. I tried to respond, to convey the agony and the fear overwhelming me, but my lips moved without sound. My mind screamed in silence, trapped within a failing body. At the hospital, the flurry of activity around me felt surreal, as if I were detached from it all, an observer of my own life hanging by a thread. Doctors and nurses moved with urgent precision, their faces etched with concern and determination. The cold touch of the stethoscope against my chest, the sharp pinch of needles, these sensations seemed distant, filtered through the fog of my waning consciousness. The diagnosis came as swiftly as the treatments that followed. Severe myocardial infarction. the doctor said, words that echoed like a death knell in the sterile air of the emergency room. The reality of my condition, heart attack, was a brutal awakening to my mortality. As I lay on the hospital bed, wired to machines that beeped and whirred with my every faltering heartbeat, I felt the weight of my past decisions, the ignored warnings, the unheeded advice of my doctor to slow down, to reconsider the pace at which I was living. Now, those choices were culminating in a crisis that could very well end my life. The impact of the diagnosis shattered any illusions of invincibility I had harbored. My thoughts raced, filled with regrets and what-ifs. The possibility of death, once a distant abstraction, was now an imminent reality, sharpening my senses to the fragility of existence. In that hospital room, surrounded by the sterile tools of medicine, I faced the ultimate confrontation with myself. The life I had led, the person I had been, all of it was now funneled into the eye of a needle through which I was being forced to pass. As fear and regret mingled with the drugs flooding my system, I slipped once more toward the edge of consciousness. The world dimmed, and the sounds of the emergency room faded into a hollow echo. I was drifting, caught between worlds, on the verge of stepping over a threshold from which there might be no return. As the boundary between life and death blurred, the sterile light of the hospital room seemed to fade into a gentler, ethereal glow. My physical pain receded, replaced by a profound stillness that enveloped my being. Despite the chaos that had reigned moments before, a surreal peace began to settle over me, as if the world had exhaled and paused in its relentless spin. The beeping of the machines that monitored my vitals slowed, each tone stretching out, becoming softer and more distant. Voices of the medical team became echoes, as if they were calling out from another world. I felt myself slipping further from the grasp of life, my spirit gently loosening from the physical ties that bound it. In those fleeting moments, as I hovered on the brink, my life didn't flash before my eyes as so many claim. Instead, there was a profound sense of detachment, a viewing of my existence from a spectator's perspective. Memories came in waves, not in a rush, but as gentle drifts of thought, each accompanied by an emotion that felt both alien and familiar. I saw my mother's smile, the proud look in my father's eyes at my graduation, the tearful goodbye at my sister's wedding. These snippets of my life, so vibrant and full of emotion, now seemed like scenes from a movie in which I had once played a part. Suddenly, the intensity of the room's energy shifted. The air thickened, and a shimmering light appeared, growing from a pinpoint to a radiant glow that filled my vision. It was unlike any light I had seen before, soft yet overwhelmingly powerful, inviting yet commanding respect. My body's struggle ceased. The fight for breath, for life, was no longer mine to battle. I felt an indescribable pull, a gentle yet irresistible tug of my soul toward the light. It was as if the light itself was alive, beckoning me to leave behind the world I knew. With a final, faint heartbeat echoing in my ears, I surrendered. My heart ceased its desperate rhythm, and with it, the last thread to life was cut. The physical world faded completely, and I stepped into the light, crossing over into a realm unknown. This transition was not marked by fear or pain, but by an overwhelming sense of liberation. As I moved into the light, my earthly concerns dissolved, leaving behind only the essence of my spirit, a pure, unburdened consciousness. In this new existence, the limitations of my human body were gone. I was aware of my surroundings not through physical senses, but through a profound spiritual perception. The light enveloped me, warm and comforting, a stark contrast to the cold, clinical lights of the hospital room I had left behind. The sounds of the hospital were replaced by a harmonious melody that seemed to emanate from the light itself. It was a symphony of peace that soothed every remnant of fear and pain, filling the space with a serenity I had never known. As I fully embraced the light, the realization of my death settled into my consciousness, not with sadness, but with an exhilarating clarity. I understood that this was not an end, but a transformation, a passage to something profoundly beautiful and indescribably real. As I continued my ascent into the radiant expanse, the light transformed, revealing a realm that defied all earthly understanding. It was as though I had entered a universe where time and space converged into a tapestry of infinite possibilities. The sensation of moving was unlike any form of physical travel. It was an effortless flowing, a being drawn by the energy of the universe itself. Surrounding me was a brilliance that illuminated not just my vision, but also my soul, casting light on corners of my spirit long shrouded in shadow. Here in this luminescent domain, I felt an unraveling of all the fears and burdens that had weighed me down in life. Each layer of doubt and sorrow lifted away, revealing a core of pure existence, untouched by earthly woes. The realm was alive, with the presence of other beings, souls that radiated a profound peace and wisdom. They did not speak in words, but communicated through a resonance that vibrated directly into my essence. It was a language of pure emotion, transcending verbal exchanges and instilling a deep understanding within me. Among these beings, one presence stood out. It was a figure radiating a light so pure and intense that it was almost palpable. As this figure approached, a sense of familiarity enveloped me, as if I had known this entity for all eternity. The closer it got, the more intense the feeling of unconditional love and acceptance became. This being, whom I instinctively knew to be my guide in this realm, communicated not through words, but through a direct infusion of knowledge. I was shown visions of my life, not as I remembered, but from a perspective that revealed the interconnectedness of every choice and every moment. I saw how each interaction rippled across the fabric of the universe, affecting others in ways I could never have imagined. The revelations were profound and often overwhelming. I understood that every act of kindness I had offered and every harsh word I had uttered had shaped not only my destiny, but had also influenced the paths of others. This knowledge came with a profound responsibility, but also an incredible liberation from the guilt and regret that had plagued me. As I absorbed these truths, the environment around me shifted, adapting to my emotions and thoughts. The light dimmed to a soothing glow when I felt overwhelmed and brightened as my understanding and acceptance grew. This responsiveness was comforting, a tangible manifestation of the realm's empathy and support. The peace that pervaded this place was unlike anything I had ever experienced. It was a completeness, a fulfillment that earthly pleasures could never match. The strife and pain of my human life seemed distant, trivial even, in the face of this overwhelming serenity. In this state of heightened awareness, I felt an invitation to delve deeper, to explore further into the mysteries that this spiritual realm offered. With my guide beside me, I prepared to journey beyond the initial revelations, toward a greater understanding that promised to reshape not just my perception of life and death, but of existence itself. Guided by the luminescent figure, I ventured deeper into the spiritual realm, each step uncovering layers of universal truth that challenged the very foundation of my previous beliefs. As we moved through this ethereal landscape, the essence of my being expanded, absorbing the profound lessons embedded within the light itself. The guide led me to a vantage point where the fabric of the universe seemed to unfold before me, a panoramic view of existence that spanned dimensions beyond human comprehension. It was here, in this grand vista, that the most significant revelation was bestowed upon me. Visions of the earth and its myriad inhabitants cascaded before my eyes, each life interconnected through an intricate web of spiritual threads. I was shown the impact of collective human emotions, love, grief, anger, joy, and how these energies shape the physical and spiritual worlds. The clarity of this connection was startling. I saw how each individual's choices contributed to a global tapestry of energetic influence, affecting the planet's very essence. My guide's presence infused me with a deep sense of peace as I absorbed this knowledge. I was shown historical events from a higher perspective, observing how major conflicts and peaceful resolutions had shifted the spiritual alignment of the world. It was revealed to me that humanity's collective destiny was not fixed, but fluid, shaped by the collective will and consciousness of all living beings. The emotional weight of this knowledge was immense, and as I processed the implications, a more personal revelation was presented to me. I was shown my own life, the ripple effects of my actions on others, and how my spiritual journey was intertwined with many others. This personal insight was humbling and transformative, driving home the importance of every thought, every word, and every action in my life. As the vision expanded, I was confronted with the ultimate truth of existence. The universe is a reflection of the collective soul of all its inhabitants. We were not merely inhabitants of the universe, but active participants in its evolution. The realization that I had the power to influence not only my own destiny, but also contribute to the universal fate was both daunting and uplifting. The pinnacle of this spiritual journey came when I was led to the edge of this realm, where the light converged into a singular point of overwhelming intensity. Here, I was given a choice: to return to my earthly life with these new insights, or to continue forward into the unknown, potentially dissolving into the universal consciousness. The decision lay heavy on my spirit. The desire to return and share these revelations with the world was strong, but so was the pull toward eternal peace and unity with the cosmos. After what felt like an eternity of contemplation, I chose to return, armed with the knowledge and responsibility to make a difference. As I made my decision, the radiant figure nodded, a gesture of profound respect and understanding. I was enveloped in a warm embrace of light, a sensation of unconditional love and acceptance that fortified my resolve. Then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the journey reversed. The expansive universe contracted, and the intense light receded, guiding me back through the veil between life and death. As the brilliant light began to wane and the celestial sounds faded into silence, I felt a gentle yet forceful pull back towards my earthly body. It was a reverse voyage through the shimmering tunnel of light, a path I now traversed with a profound sense of purpose and clarity. The stark walls of the hospital room slowly materialized around me, the beeping machines welcoming me back to the physical realm. As my eyes fluttered open, the familiar sensations of the hospital, the sterile smell, the scratchy sheets, the murmurs of medical staff, felt strangely alien, yet comforting. I was back, but I was not the same man who had left. The overwhelming revelations of the spiritual realm still echoed in my mind, imbuing every moment with new meaning and responsibility. Lying there, I contemplated the choice I had made. It was not just a decision to return to life, but a commitment to transform it. The insights gained on the other side had gifted me a new lens through which to view my existence and my interactions with the world. I understood now that every act of kindness, every moment of genuine connection, every choice, for good or ill, reverberated far beyond my immediate circle. The days and weeks that followed were a time of adjustment and reflection. I shared my experience with those close to me, my family, friends, and even my skeptical doctor. While some doubted, others were moved, finding in my story a spark of something they too had longed to touch. My story became a bridge for conversations about life, death, and the spaces between, opening doors to deeper relationships and new understandings. In the broader scope of my life, the changes were profound. I redirected my energies towards causes that fostered connection and understanding. I became involved in community outreach, volunteered for charities, and participated in forums that discussed life's bigger questions. Each step I took was a manifestation of the truths I had learned, that our lives are intertwined and that our choices matter, not just for our own souls, but for the collective soul of humanity. As I pen these final words, my hope is that my journey resonates with you, the reader. Perhaps you will find in my story a reflection of your own uncertainties and aspirations. Maybe it will inspire you to consider the deeper connections of your actions, or even to share your own experiences and insights. Let us then consider this not just a conclusion, but an invitation to explore the depth of our own spirits, to embrace the interconnectedness of our lives, and to act with the knowledge that each of us plays a part in shaping the canvas of existence. May we all find the courage to look beyond the shadows of our past and step into the light of a purposeful future.